The gap between people who build wealth and people who don't is not primarily about income. It is not about intelligence. It is not about luck, connections, or the family you were born into, though all of those help. It is about the psychological relationship with money that most people never examine and almost nobody explicitly teaches. The scarcity loop. The first and most destructive psychological pattern is the scarcity mindset. The belief, often operating below conscious awareness, that money is finite, that there is not enough, and that your job is to protect what you have rather than multiply it. This mindset is not irrational. For people who grew up in households where money was genuinely scarce, where a broken appliance or a medical bill created a crisis, the scarcity mindset developed as a survival mechanism. The problem is that it calcifies. It produces spending behaviors that provide immediate psychological relief, buying things that feel like abundance, while preventing the deferred gratification that actual wealth requires. Research by economist Sendhil Mullainathan and psychologist Eldar Shafir found that scarcity literally occupies mental bandwidth. People experiencing financial stress made measurably worse financial decisions because cognitive resources were consumed by the immediate pressure of not having enough. The scarcity, present bias, and the cost of now. In the 1960s, Stanford psychologist Walter Mischel conducted what became known as the marshmallow test. Children were offered 1 marshmallow immediately or 2 marshmallows if they waited 15 minutes. The children who waited showed significantly better outcomes across multiple dimensions of life later: academic performance, health, financial stability. The underlying mechanism is present bias. The human brain systematically overvalues immediate rewards relative to future ones. This is not weak willpower. It is a feature of the neurological reward system that evolved when the future was genuinely uncertain and the immediate reward was reliably real. Applied to money, present bias explains why people buy on credit rather than saving for compounding returns, why they choose the slightly higher salary over equity, and why they never quite start investing. Because the future payoff is abstract and the current sacrifice is concrete. Wealthy people are not immune to this, but they have typically built systems, automated investments, deducted savings, structured commitments, that remove the decision from the moment of temptation entirely. The identity problem. I'm just not good with money. This sentence, spoken casually and believed sincerely, functions as one of the most financially destructive identity statements a person can carry. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on fixed versus growth mindset established that people who believe their capabilities are fixed avoid challenges that might reveal their limitations. Applied to money, if you believe you are not a financial person, you will avoid learning about investing, avoid conversations about wealth building, and interpret financial mistakes as confirmation of your inadequacy, rather than as information to be used. Wealthy people, not all, but the ones who built it rather than inherited it, tend to treat money as a learnable system. They read about it. They ask questions that might make them look ignorant. They make costly mistakes early and extract lessons rather than shame from them. The identity shift from "I'm bad with money" to "I'm learning how money works" sounds trivial. The behavioral difference it produces over a decade is significant. Trading time versus owning systems. The deepest psychological difference between people who build wealth and people who don't is the conceptual framework they use to understand income. Most people think in terms of exchanging time for money. Work more hours, earn more. This framework has a hard ceiling. There are only 24 hours in a day, and the body breaks down before the ceiling is reached. Wealthy people think in terms of owning systems that generate income whether they are working or not. Businesses, investments, intellectual property, real estate, equity stakes. Like and subscribe for more financial psychology that changes how you think about money. Drop a comment. Which of these patterns did you recognize in yourself? Thanks for watching.